The Gaddi people are an indigenous shepherd tribe of Himachal Pradesh. The name Gaddi comes from the throne of the king and is the name given to both the people and the language they used to converse in. Initially, the mountains were used as grazing land by the Gaddi tribe en route to Chamba on their annual nomadic summer migrations. They purchased patches of land in order to ease their passage through the mountainous regions and eventually came to settle down in these paths. Their settlements are located on both sides of the Dhaulandhar ranges, Bharmor region of the Chamba district, high regions of the river Ravi, valleys of river Budhil, and in Kangra district. One such Gaddi village is Khirku. It gets its name from the khirak tree, which grows here in abundance and is located in the Kangra district of Himachal Pradesh, between the towns of Kasba and Rakkar. The first settlers of Khirku came here around 200 to 300 years ago from the Bharmor region of Himachal. As the story goes, two brothers settled here and built the first mud homes of the region. As their families grew and the village population increased, the village expanded its boundaries and grew to its current size, consisting of 17 households. Sitting 1400 meters above sea level, Khirku is only accessible by a rough concrete pedestrian path or a 20-minute hike up this steep contoured mountainside. The remote location of the village and the law that restricts outsiders from purchasing land in Himachal has helped the village retain its character, both socially and architecturally, until recently. A quick walk through the village today will reveal the change that has creeped into this protected environment. Brightly colored cemented walls are not an uncommon sight that sneak upon you from amidst the vernacular earthen homes. These homes were built using materials that can be sourced from the immediate surroundings: wood from the deodar forests, bamboo from the foothills, stone from the mountain face, and mud from the backyard. The primary occupation of the men was to take the flocks out to graze, while their families stayed back in these villages. Women spun yarn from wool. While some families still engage in shepherding practices today, the main source of income for most households is the daily wage labor down in the towns of Dharamshala and Kasba. The traditional practice was to travel up the mountain during the summers in order to access the greener pastures exposed as the snow melts. During this period, the Gaddi shepherds resided in stone dwellings built such that the livestock could be housed below while the shepherds lived above. One of the main factors governing the establishment of human settlements is proximity to or availability of water. In the mountains, the primary source of water are wells and natural springs. The village of Khirku is similarly fed by a natural spring, which has been tapped into and is provided to the household through a piping system laid and maintained by the government. A distinct feature of the village of Khirku is the Bauri, a natural outlet in a concrete shelter. These villagers speak with pride of its water, which is refreshingly cold in the summers and surprisingly warm in the biting winters. It is also one of the spots where the villagers cross paths daily as they collect drinking water, bathe, wash clothes, or rinse the harvested grain. Each family of the village owns a patch of fertile land, either in close proximity to their homes or at the foot of the mountain. They engage in agricultural activities upon these lands. However, the output is only sufficient for their consumption. There is almost never any surplus left for sale, and even if there is, it is shared or bartered within the village itself. Being a shepherd tribe, the Gaddis have a tradition of spinning yarn and weaving thick shawls from the wool which they harvest from their sheep. One can find a wooden charkha in most of the households and old fashioned wooden looms in a few. This is such an inherent part of their culture that the dowry in marriages include a box full of the pattu and gardu shawls. India has a long standing tradition of healing with Ayurvedic medicine, a branch of medicine that is widely practiced in villages like Khirku till today. Making use of this knowledge that has been passed down from generation to generation, the Ved of the village uses local herbs and essences to deal with most health issues. Most children of Khirku are given primary education at the Anganwadi and the local primary school. However, on account of location of the village, students have to trek down and travel long distances to the nearest town for receiving higher education and later to go to work. The Gati people are worshippers of Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesh, and the goddess Kali. The village also has a common temple where all major festivals and yagnas have been carried out since the time the village was established.
शहद है जी शहद हरि ओम मधुवे नमः मधु तेजं पुष्टिकरं स्नानं भोलेनाथ को लगाए हरि ओम
They mainly celebrate the festivals like Baisakhi, Ser, Patroru Sangrant, Lori, and Shivratri. Their festivals are celebrated with various folk songs and dance forms. Men wear chola and safa with dera, and women wear lonchari with accessories.